Good afternoon. Welcome to Afternoon Chat. I'm your host, Ghost Mostly. How's everybody doing today? The chat is up and running. What's on your mind? It's Wednesday. Hump Day is what we call it here in the United States. Afternoon Chat is on Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A live stream open chat. The stars of the show are the people in the chat. They determine what we talk about. We do have to abide by the community guidelines set up by YouTube. But whatever you guys want to talk about is fine with me. There's no predetermined topic, no script. There's also no commercials. It's a free show. No midstream ad, no sponsors. I'm not running for political office. I'm not coming out with a line of merch. I'm not trying to become an online influencer. I'm trying to meet and talk to people from around the world about whatever is on their mind. I know of a couple of shows on TV that aren't trying to sell you anything. This is one of them. What's on your mind today? It's better that you guys determine what we talk about. There's no telling what rabbit holes I'll go down in the next 2 hours. You're better off keeping me under control. We'll have a better show that way. And watching the news, it's not good. Well, I'm talking basically about the war crimes. Yeah, our exalted hot dog and his minions of destruction. They're running amok once again. I don't know. At this point, it feels like we've been dealing with these morons for about 20 years. I'm just saying that's what it feels like. Yeah. Any photos that you might have of the East Wing of the White House? They could become endangered. You might want to hang on to them. There's no longer an East Wing of the White House. Yeah. I don't know. I mentioned it yesterday, but if I go to a national park, I'm not allowed to pick up an arrowhead and bring it home. Yet the exalted hot dog can just tear down half the White House. It doesn't seem right to me either. Well, he's trying to build his shrine to Epstein, the Epstein Ballroom. It's under construction. I'm sure they'll have it done in a couple of years. Well, they're doing this as a salute to the pedophiles that they are refusing to prosecute. in my opinion. Feel free to jump in the chat and disagree. But the way I see it, this is definitely a pro-pedophile administration. I don't even want to call it an administration. It's a regime. Well, they're trying their best to make the United States into a banana republic. In my opinion. Feel free to jump in the chat and voice yours. My personal opinion is that we didn't need a ballroom. And we should have preserved the east wing of the White House. It'd been there 150 years. I mean, had some historical significance. It's amazing. They've got all the personnel they got in the White House, and not a single soul said, hey, you might not want to tear that down. I don't know. I'm thinking now maybe, we're better off not supplying our president with a residence. Let's just give him an office. Why does he need a residence? He doesn't understand the word tenancy. A tenant is not an owner. That's the way I see it. I live in an apartment building here. I've invited you into my living room. I think it'd be really nice to have a 90,000 square foot ballroom so we could throw a party, but I don't have the legal right to rip down the building next door and put it in. Strange, isn't it? Give it to the guy for a temporary residence and he acts like he owns the place. Not good. I think that's what the legacy is going to be on this presidency. Not good. Yeah, I saw some job numbers came out this morning, and it's the same thing I was saying yesterday. The GDP, the gross domestic product of the United States, will be reduced between 10 and 15% this year in 2025. We won't find out these numbers. We won't get the actual truth for at least a year, because our exalted hot dog likes to cook the books. Okay, that's what he does. Let's just put some fake numbers in there and tell everybody that everything is okay. It's not okay. And, well, the corporations that are running this country, the elites, they want it to happen. It's all by their design. In my opinion. Feel free to jump in the chat and voice yours. There's no charge. There's no upsell. Okay. It's getting ridiculous. I don't know of any American that is 100% happy with this president. Even the poor slobs that voted for him. Well, in my opinion, I think they're poor slobs if they voted for him. It's all right. It's not illegal to make a mistake. People do it all the time, even me. That's my proof that I'm not AI. Just another flawed human being. Okay. It's getting ridiculous in this country. That's why I like talking to people from around the globe. They got a different set of problems. I don't. Yeah, I don't know what. I have no idea what their the plan is of these rich people. They're throwing out the illegal aliens. It makes sense if they get the criminals, but it doesn't make sense if they're getting the other people. They're working, they're paying taxes, they're a part of the economy. Why would you? And where are they deporting them to? None of it makes any sense to me. But I guarantee you that the corporations and the elites that are doing this, they're making a profit off it somehow. None of these clowns do anything other than try to enrich themselves. They don't do anything for the people. They don't do anything for the nation. They only do things for themselves. They're increasing their profit. That's their whole plan. You cannot run a government like a business. Doesn't work. A business is for profit at all costs, at any cost. It is for profit. The government is not a for-profit organization. In my opinion. Feel free to jump in the chat and disagree. You don't want to talk about this, change the subject. I don't want to talk about it either. It's the only thing on my mind. I watched the news this morning and I saw the private sector jobs numbers came out and they were horrible. These are not figures coming from the government. These are actual figures. Any of these stats that you're getting from our government, they're not believable. They are cooking the books. That's what they do. "34 felony convictions." For what? Cooking the books. Okay. If you expect something different, you're really foolish. That's what he does. Cook the books, lie. Why do people lie? Facts and figures don't lie. People lie. That's rule number one. Why do people lie? To hide their greed, to hide their shame, or to hide their fear. Any mixture of the three. They don't want you to see the truth. They don't want you to see who they really are. Every time you lie, you're putting on a mask. You're hiding your true self. I have no liars in my personal life. They do not exist here. I don't allow them to exist. Why would I waste my time with a liar? There's no reason to. Make a list. Positive influences on your life, negative influences on your life. Which column do the liars go in? Positive? No. Negative, because they're lying. You can't trust what they say. They're a negative influence on your life. If you want to get those negative influences out of your life, you need to purposely schedule more time for the positive side of the list. And then just as purposely, schedule less time for the negative influences on your life. Eventually, that negative list disappears. It will not stand the test of time. If you don't find time for those liars in your life, pretty soon they're gone. Okay, that's how it works. If you keep finding time for the liars, they remain. And what do? They lie. Go figure. A politician's lies have changed over the course of my lifetime. I used to see a man running for political office, and he would have an idea, a plan that he wanted to put into effect, that he swore would benefit us all. He would get in to office, and for one reason or another, his plan did not pass. It failed. So his campaign promise was never kept. Made him look like a liar. The politicians of nowadays, they're just going to lie to you right off the jump. They're never even going to try to put in the work that they think is necessary to actually achieve their goal. It was all a scam from the onset. As far as our current president, 3 months before the election, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. He didn't change it. The law's not been changed. Social Security and tip income remains taxable. So how is that a promise kept? It's not. It was a blatant lie. He's not trying to stop. They're not trying to change the law. It wasn't legislation that failed. It was never legislation. It never came to a vote. It was a blatant lie. I got no liars in my life other than these politicians. Liars don't get the time of day from me. They don't get any money from me. And I'm not going to buy anything that they're selling. They can't even get me to stay on the channel. Okay. I flip right by them. Next. I don't want to hear their next lie. What would be the point? What do I gain by listening to a liar? I don't gain anything. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my thought process. There's no liars in my life. I don't think there are liars in your life. If they are, they're proving themselves to be disposable. Every time they tell a lie, they're saying, I'm worthless. You don't need my input. That's what I glean from talking to a liar, is that I've wasted my time having a conversation with you. What do you glean from talking to a liar? Lawyer. There's a Freudian slip. Most lawyers, yeah. Well, they're a special kind of liar. In my opinion. Feel free to jump in the chat and disagree. Feel free to jump in the chat and, straighten me out. Okay. I'll pay attention. Or is that a lie? You see my point? Why would you waste your time with a liar? You get nothing for it. It has no value. It just, to me, it's just a total waste. The best thing we can do with all of these politicians in America is vote them all out of office. Put a revolving door on all three branches of government. In and out. Next, just crank them through. All the incumbents do is come up the works. They're going to keep on doing the same bullshit they were doing in their previous term. They're there for self-enrichment. They're not there to change America. If they were there to change America, they would change America. I agree. Camberborn. Camberborn. That's an interesting handle. No, I agree with you 100%. It's the definition of insanity. I'm going to keep voting for the guys that lied to me and do nothing to help me. And I'm going to expect each time I elect a new one, things will change. If you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same result. Politics is ridiculous. Running a government with a bunch of greedy bastards is ridiculous. In my opinion. I Camber born. That's interesting. Where are you from, Mike Camber? I Camber? I came up with ghosts mostly back in the day. I had a band, and I used to ghostwrite for them. I wouldn't let them put my name on anything. And then when I started this project, I just took that same alias and moved it forward. Where are you from? I'm guessing the UK. Shot in the dark. Ah, Indiana. I used to live in Fort Wayne when I was a kid. Yeah. Well, you guys got your own set of issues down there. I think number one, you need to decriminalize marijuana. It's big business up here in Michigan. You can't go a mile in any direction without running into a pot store. And they're taxing the crap out of it too. I look at it just like a sin tax on alcohol or on cigarettes, personal opinion. I was in Fort Wayne from, I'll say, age 7 till age 12. Yeah, he gets upset easy. He's a real thin-skinned dude. Okay. Yeah, that's what I mean. They're not doing things that their population needs. Michigan's great, especially in the summertime. We've got so many miles of shoreline. It's just ridiculous. I remember when I was in Indiana, in Fort Wayne, we had to drive like 50 miles to get to a lake. In here, I can get on a city bus and go to a lake. you know, when it comes to swimming, fishing, kayaking, boating, any of that stuff, lakes are great summertime entertainment. Yeah, I had a lot of friends in Indiana before I moved. I was at 12 years old. I was really pissed that we had to move back to Michigan because I had so many friends. Played Little League down there. Oh, I wasn't any good. I played right field, but I had fun. I can't understand. I After growing up in Michigan, I thought there would be lakes everywhere I went, and that just turned out to not be the case. Yeah, the further south you get, the prettier it gets, the greener it gets. That's for sure. I used to go see what was it, Evansville. They had baseball down there. You used to be able to get into a semi-pro ball game for like $3, $4. Great entertainment. That's why I like the lake. Is it's great entertainment and it doesn't cost anything. Fishing, there's I can't think of a better way to spend an afternoon than fishing. Seriously. I don't keep what I fish for anymore. Hey, I'm here Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you're always welcome. Ghost is a good name. That's why I used it for this project and kept it. I like it. But it was nice to meet you, and thanks for stopping by today. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you as a viewer. I'll be here Monday through Friday, I promise. I am going to take Christmas Day off this month just so I can watch the Lions. But thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. I think everyone in the world has a right to voice their opinion. And that's why I created this show, so you can voice your opinion. And I have no set topics. I know I sit here and ramble when I don't have anyone in the chat. And I go down rabbit holes. Okay. That's just proof that I'm a human being. I'm not AI. Okay. But I don't care what we talk about. I don't want to weigh the conversation and say, oh, we have to talk about this subject or we have to talk about that subject. That's not the case. We can talk about anything you want to talk about. I watched the news this morning, so I was talking about politics. That's what I saw on the news. But this is not a political show. We can talk about, I don't know, cooking recipes if you like. Okay. I really don't care. What I care about is I don't want to put my thumb on the scale and say, oh, we have to talk about this. I'd rather the chat put their thumb on the scale and they determine what we talk about. But yeah, that's nice that Indiana stopped by and spoke up today. Hey, YouTube keeps putting us in front of more people and we keep getting subscribers. We keep getting viewers. It's growing. But I like that, a cat named Ghost. I'm thinking he's probably a black cat. Shot in the dark, purely a guess. I'm pro pet, but I don't have any anymore. I can barely take care of me. Let's be realistic. Okay. No pet needs to depend on my lazy ass. Okay. Well, if I were to get a dog, I'd have to go out and walk it. I ain't been outside since, yesterday morning. It's 20 degrees out there. The wind's blowing. It's cold, and there's a foot of snow on the ground. I got no business roaming around out there. If I did, I'd have to put my long johns on. Okay. I'd have to bundle up. I just went over and turned up the heat a notch this morning and stayed in. It's wintertime. I'm in Michigan. I plan to hunker down. Okay. If I leave the house once a week during the winter, that's plenty. It's an apartment. I call it house, but it's an apartment. No, it would be too much responsibility for me to take care of a dog. I love them, love cats, but too much work for me. And the vet bills are getting really high. I talk to people. I talk to a lot of pet owners. Yeah, their vet bills. Well, evidently, private equity is going into a town, one town at a time, and they will buy up all the vet offices and then raise the prices by 50%. That's what I gleaned from my information and talking. Pet health care and child care, the costs are shooting through the roof. The private equity that's buying up all the veterinarian offices, they're doing it they want to buy as many in one town as they can, and then they jack up the prices. And people love their pets just like their family members, in my opinion. I see people walking their dogs, and I say, "How are the kids doing today?" They bring them over, and I get to pet them or whatever, you know. Well, in the summer, I go for walks around the neighborhood or in the park next door to the complex I live in. You got to stay active as you get older. If you don't stay active, you die. You have to stay active and you have to continue to eat. If you see an old person that's not eating, they're not going to be around long. You better hug them while you can. If you see a person that's inactive, their life expectancy drops like a rock. I ain't kidding you. If you sit 16 hours a day, your life expectancy drops down to like 3 years. You better stay moving. You don't got to move fast, but you got to stay moving. You got to keep eating. Yeah. Yes, I'm getting old, but I make getting old look good. Okay. I'm 68 and counting. When I hit 40, I tried going back to zero. It didn't work. They won't let you reverse direction. For some reason, the aging process is a one-way street. Who knew? When I was in my 20s, I thought I was indestructible. I've learned different over time. If you disagree, feel free to jump in the chat, voice your opinion. You're welcome. Now, oh yeah, and I got to tell people to like and subscribe, please. That will help YouTube get us in front of more people. I'm having trouble doing that kind of crap. Yeah. Well, I just don't think about it because I'm not selling anything. But the like and subscribe is also free. So I need to mention it more to help the show, help the channel progress. Okay. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. I watch a lot of shows that I don't like and subscribe. So I got no right to complain. I've been watching, well, I found one this morning. I was watching Midas Touch for some political news. And Ben Meiselas, he says, you may think you're subscribed, but because I'm in your feed every day, but you're not really subscribed. And sure enough, I checked, I grabbed my remote, I checked, I wasn't subscribed. I get him in my news feed every single day. I probably watch 4 or 5 of his short videos a day. And I had no idea that I was not subscribed. So I subscribed this morning. And I gave him a like too, because, you know, I like the show. But yeah, I had no idea. But you know, I can't complain about anybody that doesn't like and subscribe my show when I don't do it for the shows that I'm watching. I'll try to improve on that. I'll try to get better, and then maybe I can get better at helping this channel to grow. My problem is I don't think of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I subscribe to the shows that are important to me, like Cross Timbers Bison or Tom Grassi or Mike Kimber or TMZ, right? I subscribe to those. I enjoy watching them a lot. But a lot of the other shows that I watch, like Ben Mysalis, I had never subscribed before. So he got my subscription today. Okay. It never dawns on me, you know? Well, this whole interactive TV is brand new. I'm told that the newest smart TVs, if you get them with all the bells and whistles, I'm told that you can chat just with your TV remote. I had no idea. I've never seen one of, well, my TV's probably 10 years old. Okay. 10, maybe 12, 13. It's old. I'm not going to replace it. It looks fine. I can watch a football game. Okay. Those of you that don't know, I'm a Detroit Lions football fan. I watch the Lions, which is why I'm going to take Christmas Day off. Well, I'm giving you, 3 weeks notice here. I am trying to build a show and build the channel, and I do want everyone to feel like I'm going to be here tomorrow. But, I'm a human being, and I'm not going to miss my Lions on Christmas Day just to hold a show. When I originally scheduled the show, I was going to have it run from noon until 2 Eastern. And I looked at the football schedule and I adjusted the time frame, and I realized, well, if I go to 3 to 5, it gets an afternoon chat show in all 3 of the main time zones of America: Eastern, Central, and Pacific. But we have an international audience that's growing almost daily. Scotland was talking to me, I don't know, 2 days ago. That was a brand new country, But I know that we've got subscribers. This channel has subscribers from at least 7 different countries, not counting the United States. United Kingdom, Scotland, England, Hungary, Turkey, Latvia, and Indonesia. 7. I'm wonderful about that. I think that's great. That's kind of like what I was missing from being in the casinos. Is I used to meet people from all over the world. I love that. Tell me what's going on in your area. Tell me what your priorities are. I'd much rather get information from people than from a news broadcast. Well, most of what you see on the news nowadays is propaganda. It's biased, and they omit things. They don't tell you what's going on. I watch, for my war news globally, I watch a show called The Enforcer. It's 2 young brothers, I'm going to say early 20s, Andrew and Matt. They, I believe they're in Salt Lake City now, but they do 6 nights a week 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They come on YouTube and they glean all of social media and get bona fide war news with video evidence. And then they present it to you. And I mean, it's a fast-paced show. You got to keep up. They give it to you. They show you the video evidence. It is not, well, it's biased in the fact that they're from America, so they are pro-American. But they tell you that right up front. But it's not a propaganda outlet like most of the news broadcasts. You want to know the truth about the wars going on this planet, tune into The Enforcer. That's where I get my war info. They cover it and they show you the video evidence, the proof. They don't show you the gore of war. Don't get me wrong. They follow the terms of service with YouTube. They follow the community guidelines. I respect that. But they glean all the social media, so I don't have to. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm subscribed to him or not. Well, Ben Meiselas has got me questioning everything. I don't know all my favorite shows. I got to check them all now, and I got to go through. I get them in my feed, but I'm not sure I'm subscribed to all of them. So, in the next couple of days, as I'm watching TV, I'm going to make sure that I'm subscribed and I'm liking these guys, to help them out with their channel as well. I looked up a guy that was in the chat room earlier in the week, Tragedy Tales, and I loved his channel. He had 485,000 subscribers, this dude. He's got a real channel, okay? Oh, yeah, I watched a 30-minute video as soon as I found him, but I looked him up after the show. It's a good channel, Tragedy Tales. I enjoyed it. So I give him the old like and subscribe. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff with this, It's like I created a Patreon page so that someone could support the channel if they wanted to, but I never activated it. I created it 3 months ago, and I've never activated it. Maybe this weekend I'll go through and I'll activate it, but we really don't have any reason to ask people to support the show. I'm not giving you nothing. You guys are giving me. You guys are getting in the chat and talking with me. You know what I mean? And I'm not paying a production staff. I'm not paying a makeup artist, Ghost Mostly Media LLC is a bona fide legal company, but I'm the only one that works. It's just me. I do need the channel to get monetized eventually. So I do need 1,000 subscribers and I do need 4,000 viewing hours, but I'm not getting on any of the other social media platforms and advertising or any of that crap. Well, I don't like any of the other platforms. I mean, as I understand it, X is a pure zoo. So why would I want to get on there and waste my time? I enjoy YouTube. That's what I watch. Well, it's like tomorrow night's football game. I have Prime, but I won't watch it on Prime. I'll be watching Mike Kimber, his watch party on YouTube. And then if the Lions get a big lead by halftime, I'll probably switch over to watch Tom Grassi on YouTube. Oh, I know I'm subscribed to both of them. Well, I got to be able to watch my Lions. Okay. My Lions, like I'm a team owner. Actually, if they made it a publicly traded company, I'd probably buy some stock. But Green Bay is the only one that's publicly traded. But as far as I know, there's like a 10-year waiting list to buy a single share. Okay, so yeah. Well, I wish that a lot of the shows were publicly traded. One of my favorite shows is Cross Timbers Bison. A guy named Dusty Baker, Southern Oklahoma. He is raising American bison. They are wild animals, and his entire life is dangerous as hell. Okay. I am not interested in doing that myself. I would not get into an open field with a bison. You couldn't pay me to do it. But I sure as heck enjoy watching him. Well, those bison get huge. They can flip a car. An adult bull is knocking on 2,000 pounds. An adult female is 1,000 pounds. Your car only weighs about 3,000 pounds. A male or a female could flip that sucker with you in it. Okay. They're wild animals. They are not tame. Okay. I enjoy watching the show immensely. And I'm telling you, he should start selling stock. He should become a publicly traded company because he's also restoring the grasslands. And he needs to buy more land. If he had another 1,000 acres, imagine what he could do. But yeah, I enjoy watching the wild animals. And he's got more than just bison. He's got wild turkeys. And he's restoring the land to grasslands. And I got to respect that. I don't see anyone else doing it. Only him. But if he went to a publicly traded company and sold stock, guys like me would buy it. And then maybe he could afford to buy more land and make his ranch even larger. I think his main property, I think it's like 290 acres now. He's got a couple other side properties, some that he leases and some that are family owned that he uses from time to time. But I thoroughly enjoy his show. I don't think he's on enough. He needs to be on more. I think he does like a weekly, puts out a video a week, something like that. Some of these other guys, they got an amazing amount of content. Unbelievable amount. Tom Grassi has got over 4,700 videos. That's huge. No wonder he's closing in on 1 million subscribers, you know. I don't know. Watching Tom Grassi and watching Dusty Baker are two totally opposite things. Dusty is taking care of animals. He's taking care of land. He's taking care of his family. Tom Grassi is more of a chaotic good. There's a certain amount of chaos. He's dealing with, a large number of people in his chat room. His Friday night Q&A, I get in, there's almost always 800 to 1,000 people in there. And all of them trying to chat. The chat just flies up the screen. You can't keep up with it all. He does an amazing job. I think the most I've ever had in the chat was 3 people, all at the same time. I can't say I had my hands full, but the day went real fast. The show went real fast. Yeah, I'm running behind today. I'm still drinking my Dr. Pepper. I haven't gotten to my Gatorade. I've got it sitting here, but I haven't. I still got half my Dr. Pepper. I'm dawdling today. Well, I was eating donuts this morning, drinking coffee, eating donuts, watching the news. Isn't that what everybody does? Yeah, I know. I'm smoking a lot. I basically do a cigarette every 20 minutes. I don't recommend it for anyone else. I also smoke pot. So if you see me smoking a lot of cigarettes, you should understand I'm trying to control my pot smoking. It's legal here in Michigan. Okay. I don't recommend anyone break any laws ever. And just because you see me doing something, don't mean you should be doing it. We all have to make our own choices in life. Some of my choices are poor. Okay. They're not for everybody. Some of your choices are not for me. We all have common ground, but we're at the same time, we are all individuals. It's amazing how that works. Just simply amazing. No, I watch the news and then I get on the show, and if nobody's in the chat directing my train of thought, it wanders. And when it gets into some of these things in the news that are just ridiculous, I can go down a rabbit hole from time to time. Okay. Yeah, I've had an interesting week. This is the 3rd show in. Well, I'm getting ready to take another week off from watching the news. Okay. I honestly believe in self-censorship. I don't think anyone else has the right to censor me. Tragedy, welcome back. God, I loved your channel. Oh my God. I liked and subscribed, brother. Okay. I loved it. You want to hear another ghost story? You want to hear the one I started telling you about the other day, or do you want to hear a different one? I'll tell you one that's slightly different. You might enjoy it. So, in my youth, I spent 5 years hitchhiking around the continental United States. That's a fancy way of saying I was homeless. Okay. But in that 5 years hitchhiking around, I met a lot of people and I did a lot of things. And I had a hitchhiking buddy. We used to travel together for a couple of years. And his name was Don. And Don and I were we were on Interstate 80 in a small town called Rollins, Wyoming. We were stuck there, couldn't get a ride for 8 hours straight, all night long. And the town of Rollins had a UFO sighting that night. And like the people were skittish and didn't want to pick up hitchhikers, let alone two long-haired hippie-looking guys, So we ended up standing there around on the side of the highway all night long, couldn't get a ride. First thing in the morning, young couple in a red GTO. Rear end was on shackles. It was all jacked up. And I think the kid had been tinkering with the motor and he had it souped up pretty good. They picked us up. We jump in the back with our backpacks. And he says he's going to Grand Junction, Colorado. We were on our way to LA. So, and, having been stranded for the previous 8 hours, we wanted to get out of there. So we get in, we're going through the mountains and he's taking the high mountain roads, the ones with no guardrails. They're just 2 lanes. And he's got a heavy foot. He's going fast and I'm feeling uncomfortable. So Don, my traveling partner, I decided, you make sure that, we're staying on track and I'm just going to lay down and take a nap. I stretched out in the back seat, nodded off. I had this dream. While we're flying through these mountain roads, in the dream, gold Cadillac with a large U-Haul trailer on the back. It stopped and picked us up. I was sitting in the front seat. Don was sitting in the back. The guy reaches into his vest, pulls out a pint, takes a swig, offers it to me. The trailer's swaying. He's doing about 70, 75 going down the highway. And he pulls over, opens the glove box, pulls out a tire pressure gauge, and asks me to check the tire pressure on the tires. So, long story short, there's a red van, a fiery explosion. Don and I both die. This was my dream. I wake up just as we're pulling into Grand Junction, Colorado. The young couple drops us off. We're at the wrong end of town. We're headed out the other way. So we have to walk across town, get to the other side before we can put our thumbs out. Didn't want to get arrested. Didn't want no problem with the law, you know. So we get to the other side and we're stranded there for 4 hours. Can't get a ride. We're literally standing underneath a sign that says no services next 200 miles. So we know we got to get a ride that goes all the way through, right? So we're standing there and I start telling Don about this dream. I tell Don all about the dream and the fact that the red van, the big fiery fireball, and he and I both die. I told him every detail I can remember about that dream. And we're sitting there for 4 hours while Don dabbled in witchcraft, wizardry. We're stranded for 4 hours after a night of being stranded for 8 hours with no ride. So he casts a spell, does an incantation, makes a little pile of rocks on the side of the highway, and ta-da, up pulls a gold Cadillac pulling, yes, a U-Haul trailer. Just like it was in the dream. I looked at him and I said, we're not getting in. He said, we've been stranded for 4 hours. It's going to get dark soon. We need to move. We need to go. Talks me into it. We get into the car. I get in the front seat. Don gets in the back with both our backpacks. We're cruising along. I look over the speedometer. The guy's doing 75. He reaches into his vest. He pulls out a pint, opens it up, takes a long swig, passes it to me. I take a swig. I pass it back to Don. The trailer starts to wobble. It's going back and forth. He's still in his lane, but you can feel it as we're flying down the highway. Guy pulls over, opens a glove box, pulls out a tire pressure gauge, and tries to hand it to me. I was done. The vehicle had stopped. I'm looking for a red van. I don't want to be anywhere near this gold Cadillac when this red van hits it and there's the big fireball. I saw it in my dream. I don't want it to happen. I freak out. When he pulls that tire pressure gauge, I look over my shoulder into the back seat at Don and I said, no. I got out of that car. I would not touch that tire pressure gauge. I had nothing to do with it. I opened the back door. Don got out with both backpacks and we told the guy, we're good. See you later. He pulls away, left us standing there in the middle of nowhere after having picked us up underneath a sign that said no services next 200 miles. This is a true story. Never saw the gold Cadillac or the trailer ever again. Never died in a fire. But this is how it went down. And I'm sitting there on the side of the highway. I refused to even hitchhike. I'm like, as soon as I see a red van, I'm running. I'm going to jump this fence. I'm running across that field. You ain't going to stop me. It was insane. Just crazy. And we were out there. It started getting dark. We were nowhere's near an exit. There was nothing in the middle of friggin' nowhere. And Don's up there and he's trying to hitchhike and it's just getting dark. And a guy in a blue Audi stops. We get in. Guy takes us all the way to LA. No problems, no issues, nothing bad, no red van. I was seriously looking for a red van for the next year. I was flipped out. So then I stayed in LA. Gosh, I think I was there 6 months. Don had gone on to Oregon, and I was living in North Hollywood with a couple of stewardesses, and I'm sitting out at the pool one day, and from out of nowhere, Don comes walking up. He says, "You ready to go?" I said, "All right, we'll go." So we got back on the road and hitchhiked back. But that dream, as far as I'm concerned, was a premonition. Too many things came true. And when I saw the tire pressure gauge come out of the glove box, I lost it. I was done. I would have stayed there on the side of the road for days. I wasn't moving. It was crazy. But Don and I were on the same wavelength for about 2 years. And no matter where I was, he'd come walking up. "You ready to go?" "All right, we'll go." Hey, I love your channel. Thanks for telling me about it, man. I watched. It was the first vid I saw. It was 7 deaths, including the guy that got pulled into the sausage machine. Oh my God, what a way to go! That poor guy. But yeah, you got a hell of a channel. I understand why you got 485,000 subscribers, buddy. Okay. Good job. Good job. Good channel. Very entertaining. I'll be back to watch more of your vids, by the way. I'm not a horror guy per se, but the way you've got it set up, I'm like, okay, I can look through this content and I can pick and choose my spots. I can be entertained here. Hey, if you and your channel ever need me as a reference, I'm always available to you. Okay. Yeah, I was very entertained. I stopped watching horror movies when the Amityville Horror came out. I don't know if you remember that one or not. Yeah, that's when I stopped watching them. It really did. Well, how many times had you seen that gray pattern on your TV? It looked real to me. Okay. That freaked me out. But that's when I stopped watching the horror content. Yeah. You remember Halloween? Michael Myers? Oh, that was a scary dude, man. I remember taking Quaaludes and going to a movie theater and seeing that. Yeah, that was freaky. Yeah, if you get a chance to watch that Halloween, do it. I'm telling you, it's great. The first one, Halloween itself. Yeah, it was just freaky. But that town, Cripple Creek, Colorado, there were I would say probably 20 different people that I talked to that all had ghost stories in that town. One guy I talked to, he owned a casino. And the night before his grand opening, all of his machines that were not being played, all of a sudden they hit jackpots and dumped out every coin that was in them into the trays. He was freaked out. He was thinking, I'm going to put all these coins back in here and then open the doors for business, and they're just going to dump it all out, and I'm going to lose the whole casino in the first day. Yeah. Well, I had one guy tell me that he had a ghost push him down the stairs, down a staircase head first. He was freaked out. I think some of these ghost chaser outfits are fake, but some of that shit's real. My father actually told me that after my mother had passed away, he used to see her all the time when he was out in public. Oh, I'm very skeptical as well. But when I see something and I know it's real, I believe it. I think it'd be absurd if you could actually catch a ghost. I don't think that's possible. But I believe that, well, I told you about the story with the beer glass and the girl quitting her job. People don't quit jobs over something like that. I mean, it was real fear. Oh yeah, that'd freak me out. I'd lose it quick. As a kid, oh, you got to be kidding. I would have lost it. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I'll bet. At 8 years old, you're lucky you didn't pee yourself, dude. Okay. At 8 years old, yeah, you're real lucky. When I went to surveillance, though, and I saw that 20 minutes after the incident, there was no time they had any chance to doctor that film. They didn't have the time. And this was in like, I don't know, 2008. Oh, yeah. Well, sound in itself, there's it has the ability to scare you. Go out into the woods by yourself at night and just sit back against a tree and just listen. I guarantee you sound can mess with you. I think it ties in with our imagination. No matter what the sound you hear, you need to tie it to something in your brain. And when things don't connect, when they don't add up right, fear comes in. And once you get scared, I say it all the time, fear, uncontrolled fear, rational thinking is out the window. It's gone. Okay. There's no way to get back to rational thinking once you're afraid. That's so weird. An army barracks turned into housing. I think of an army barracks. Oh, yeah. Well, as a kid, your need to know level is so high. You're used to learning every day. So when something is unexplained and you need to find out, oh my goodness. That's crazy. Yeah, in military housing, I mean, anything could have gone down in there. I was in U.S. military housing, and I did not like it, but I didn't like it because they had too many of us in there. If it had been fewer people in the building, it would have been okay. Oh yeah, I have a definite show me attitude. I got to see it with my own eyes. You know what I mean? But once I see it, I believe it. But yeah, you got a real interesting channel. I'm very proud of you, actually. It seems to be a niche, and I think that's what it takes. You're going to keep on growing. You're going to get big. You're going to have 1 million subscribers before you know it, because YouTube's popularity is just on the rise. Everybody I know is ditching cable. They're ditching satellites. And YouTube is definitely on the rise. How many years you been doing that? You got to be in it at least 5 years to have 485,000, right? Yeah, you're going to get there, Tragedy. I'm telling you, you're on the right track, brother. Okay? You're going to get to 1 million, trust me. And I bet you it happens faster than you think. It's 3 years. That's amazing that you've done that in 3 years' time. It's kudos, brother. That's my thing for 2025. My personal thing is to give kudos where kudos are due. Tell people. That's the whole thing to me is I need to make this channel reliable. People need to know that it's here every day. If they know they can count on me to be here every day, it'll grow. Yeah. Have you seen Tom Grossi? He's just about to hit 1 million. I think he's 63,000 away, 64,000 away, something like that. He's real close. I think he's going to hit it by Super Bowl. Well, I think that you're always going to be able to find content in the category you're in. You're always going to be able to find content. But the history of that town, Cripple Creek, Colorado, if you look that up, that whole town burnt down. Half of it one day and the other half the next day. Yeah, you might want to take a trip up there. Seriously. Cripple Creek, Colorado. Check into the town's history and look for some of the older residents. They've got some stories. The owner I talked to was the Grand Hotel. He was the one that the grand opening night, all of his machines emptied out of money. All the stories that everybody I talked to in that town about ghosts and hauntings and stuff, it all led back to that town burning down. It was supposedly a prostitute got mad at a cowboy and grabbed one of the old coal oil lanterns and threw it at him. It hit a wall, broke, and it was full of coal oil, and the whole town was wood, and it just burnt down over the course of 2 days. I found it very interesting. A lot of gold mines there in that town. At one time, they had more millionaires than any other town in America because of the gold mines. They actually, all of the mules that they used in the mines, they roam freely in the town now. They're protected. I came out of my apartment one morning before sunup, and there were 50 mules standing in the courtyard. It was interesting as hell to me up there. I stayed there almost a full year. I was hired by one of the casinos, and I trained all their personnel on table games, blackjack, craps, and roulette. It was an interesting community. They have a museum right in downtown. And I did a cursory walkthrough on the museum, but I didn't put any time into it. It seems like it was like 1910 or something that the town burnt down. Have you ever been to any of the ghost towns, like the ones down in near Death Valley? There's one down there called Rhyolite. When I was living in Vegas, I used to do day trips, and I'd drive out and go through the ghost towns and look them over. Found it quite entertaining. Yeah, I went into Rhyolite. I went and looked at their jail. It was the building that had the most remnants left. And believe me, that was not a jail you would have ever wanted to been locked up in. It was gross. Yeah, I think it'd be worth a trip to you. I mean, I'm sure there's, a lot of stuff in the UK, but that whole Cripple Creek, Colorado, and Death Valley, going through those ghost towns, I enjoyed it. It was a great day trip. But Death Valley, if you're going to go down there, you have to go there like after Labor Day. You got to go there in the winter months. You can't go there in the summer. It's actually closed. The last temp I saw down there was 134 degrees in the summer. You wouldn't want to be walking around in that. You wouldn't even want to drive a car in that kind of heat. But I enjoyed going to the ghost towns and walking through the buildings or what was left of them, and trying to piece it together and see what went wrong, why the town closed. Rhyolite, it closed because the mines went dead. There were no more gold. But they also had water issues. Nowadays, I think you could build a town and not have to have water in the ground. You know, you could pipe it in or truck it in. But back in the early 1900s, if you didn't have water, I think you were up shit creek without a paddle. Yeah, I'm glad you stopped by today. Made my day. How's your news up there in the UK? Do you feel like it's do you feel like it's a propaganda network like Pravda? I feel like all of it here in the United States is all propaganda. There's no real truth to it. You really got to pick and choose your spots getting your information. I really personally believe in self-censorship. I don't want other people to censor me, but I got no problem with censoring myself. Oh, yeah, I don't want to get you in no trouble, brother. But yeah, to me, I don't know. I compare it to news from, 50 plus years ago. And it was totally different. They used to just report the news, and they gave you a wide variety of news. Oh, I'm sorry, the UK is a mess. Is it a mess because of the size of it? Because it's so big? I've been looking at other countries, and it seems like the larger the country, the more messed up they are. Starting with Russia. Personal opinion. And once again, I don't want to get you in any trouble. It appears to me that the larger the country is, the more problems they're having. Whereas you get to these smaller countries, like, yeah, I agree with that. I'm so sick of these politicians. But it seems like the smaller the country, the better the people are getting along, and the better. There just seems to be less confrontation, less conflict in the smaller countries. It could just be that I get less news out of the smaller countries. Well, my question for the American politicians is I want to know what the minimum bribe is. There's some crap I would like to change, and I understand how bribery works. and I can't compete with the high end. But I'd like to find out the low end. What's the minimum bribe? Okay. I'm serious. If it's $1 million, tell me. Maybe I can raise $1 million but I can't compete with a $400 million jet from Qatar. That high end, I can't compete with that. I know that. But I want to know, what is the minimum? If the minimum bribe is affordable, we could, pool our resources and get some changes made within their system of bribery that they love so much. Taxes here in America are only high for the individuals. The elites are paying no taxes, none, zero. That includes corporations. They are not paying their fair share. But the working class is paying for everything. Yeah. I don't know how we can change that. Yeah. Gosh. It's amazing. 2 different countries, but the same problems. Isn't that amazing? What are the odds? I was describing politics in America last week. In my mind, I envisioned one of them giant cruise ships that's run aground. You got all the Republicans on one side of the ship and all the Democrats on the other side of the ship, and they're both pushing in opposite directions. So they're canceling each other out. And then you've got the 60% of the country that doesn't vote, doesn't get involved in politics. All of them are still above on the ship. They keep looking over the rail at the Republicans and the Democrats saying, push harder, push harder. The wheelhouse of the cruise ship, that's all your elites and your CEOs and your billionaires. And they've all got one hand on the helm and they're all trying to turn it a different direction. The ship's run aground. It's not going anywhere. No matter which way you turn the helm. It seems like, I don't know, a waste for both the Republicans and the Democrats. What's the point in pushing unless you're going to push together? If the car is stalled and you get out and push one way and I get out and push the other way, the car ain't going to go anywhere ever. But if we both push in the same direction, we can move it even a little bit at a time. I mean, that's the way I see it. Personal opinion. I just, it's final 10 minutes of the show. I gotta wind things down. I want to thank you for stopping by today. Brighten my day. Pleasure to talk to you. I do appreciate you guys for chatting. I appreciate the viewers as well. Even if you don't chat, I appreciate it. The name of the show, Afternoon Chat. I'm the host, Ghost Mostly. Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a free show. No midstream ads, no commercials, no sponsors. I'm not running for political office. I'm not trying to become a online influencer. I am not coming out with a line of merch. I am not chasing your wallet. The stars of this show are the people in the chat. They determine what we talk about. They determine what this show is all about. You have a right to speak your mind. You have a right to voice your opinion. This is an inclusive channel. We want everyone to feel welcome. We want everyone to feel that it's fun to participate. This is not an exclusive club. We're not barring people, oh, you can't play here. This is inclusive. We want everyone to feel welcome at all times. My personal philosophy is if you're nice to everyone all the time, you're going to get all that niceness coming back to you tenfold. We need to live and let live. We all have similarities. We all have things in common. We all have common ground. We all love our parents. We all love our family. Common ground. But at the same time, when we have common ground, we all have the right to be individuals. You cannot micromanage your neighbor's life. You cannot tell him how to live. Vice versa, your neighbor cannot tell you how to live your life. We need to be understanding. We need to be patient. We need to be tolerant. Allow people their individuality. Do not try to control them. Do not try to manipulate them. It's none of your business how they're leading their lives. None of their business how you're leading your life. You don't know what's on your neighbor's plate. You don't know what he's dealing with. Is he holding down 3 jobs? Is he under stress? Is he under pressure? Is he dealing with grief and death and loss? You don't know. You have no way to know. So cut him some slack. Allow him to be him. If you're trying to micromanage him in his life, you're trying to tell him how to live, you're telling him he can tell you how to live. He can micromanage your life, and you don't want that. None of us do. You're not his judge. You're not his jury. Leave the man alone. Be nice to everybody. Be patient. Be the most understanding person you can be. Be tolerant of others. Allow them to cut their own path. And maybe, just maybe, they'll allow you to cut your own path. These are my beliefs. If you want to disagree, feel free to jump in the chat. We can talk this out. Communication. The reason we have cities, towns, villages, the reason we live in groups is because when people are tolerant of one another and actually work together with each other, they build great things. They build better things. They build them stronger. They build them faster. They build them to last. By the collaboration, by working together. If your politicians are telling you to hate your neighbor, they're wrong. Don't hate your neighbor. Respect your neighbor. I know it's a bizarre concept. I'm the only one on TV telling you this, but I'm telling you, live and let live. Be nice to everybody. You'll like the end result. Sometimes the hardest thing that you can do is mind your own business. Sad but true. Sometimes it's hard. You've learned a lesson. You want to be helpful, but there's a line. Don't cross that line. You think you're being helpful, you have good intentions, but you're being intrusive. You're sticking your nose in where it doesn't belong. Control your emotions and be tolerant. Allow people to be individuals. They can still be your neighbor. You can still be their neighbor. You can still work together. You can get along. It's possible. That's how we got here. Okay? That said, I'm your host, Ghost Mostly. Feel free to jump in the chat and voice your opinion. Everyone is welcome. Every opinion is welcome. You want quality of life? You want quality of life? Allow others to have quality of life. Allow them to have peace of mind, and you'll have peace of mind. You cannot micromanage other people. You cannot pick and choose for other people. You can pick and choose your path. If someone asks for help, feel free to share, but don't force your help on anyone. It's a fine line between right and wrong sometimes. Be the fairest guy in the room. With that said, thank you all for participating in today's show. I appreciate you. Like and subscribe if you could. It will help the show in the long run. If you can't do it, don't worry about it. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great day and be nice. It'll pay off.